Welcome, my dear students. Today, in this lecture, we are going to see the concept of testing and debugging. This is the fifth lecture of Unit 1 in Computer Programming through C. Dear students, as per the SBT syllabus, the code of the subject is 1600302. The first unit, Introduction to Programming. In this first unit, today we are going to see lecture number 5. The name of the lecture is Concept of Testing and Debugging. This is the content of our lecture. Today we are going to see this concepts. So the first we are going to see about the definition of testing. Then we will see objectives and levels of testing. What are the testing methodology we are going to be used? So that also we are going to see today in this lecture. Then we will see the definition of debugging and steps of debugging process. In last also I touched approaches and tips for debugging. That means how we are going to be debug. What are the tips we are going to be use or approach we have for debugging. So these are the contents we will see in today's lecture. The first slide here say that in this we will see the definition of testing. So here I have given 4 points for the definition of testing. Dear students, authors and scientists have their own definition for the testing. As Mayer said that testing is the process of executing a program with the intention of finding error. This is as per the definition given by Mayers. So there are many authors or scientists have gave the definition about the testing. So I am not going to see all, but for your reference I am just try to give the two definition by two different authors. So Mayer said that it's a process to finding error. Dijkstra says that testing can show the presence of bugs but never show their absence. So that definition given by the Dijkstra. In simple, we say that testing is a process which is used to identify the problems in a software before we use. In third point says that it is a process of executing a software system to determine whether the software matches our specification in its intent environment. So these are the basic definition of the testing. Now objective of the testing. So we have few points here why we can go for testing. The first point says that we will go for testing only to find the error in the software or the program. Second point says that while testing only we are able to check our program or software meet with our requirement or it will be executed in our intent environment. Third point says here by testing only we are able to check whether our software meet our expectation. For what purpose? we made this software or program. So here it's a beautiful sentence given here. A successful test is one that uncovers a yet undiscovered error. That means the error which is undiscovered are uncovered by the process of testing. So finally we can say that the objective of the testing is to fix the bugs as early as possible before going to be use the software. Now we have levels of testing. Dear students, actually we have 4 levels of testing, but here I have added one more, that is validation testing. In this validation testing we have 3: regressive testing, alpha testing and beta testing. So we will see this levels of testing one by one. By this image also I try to explain you. The first we have a unit testing, second integration testing, third we have a system testing, and fourth we have a acceptance testings. So unit testing will be performed by developer, and integration testing will be done by developer and tester, system testing by the tester, and the acceptance testing can be done by end user called customer. So we will see one by one. Let's start. Now unit testing. What is the objective of the unit testing? So the unit testing means to test the function of a program. Unit testing, the objective of the unit testing to test the function of a program or to test the internal logic of the program or to verify whether internal design is done as per based on SRS. SRS stands for software requirement specification. So next objective of the unit testing is to test path and condition coverage. So these are the objective why we can go for the unit testing. So when the unit testing will be done? Once our code is developed or module is coded, then only we can go for the unit testing. What is the output or input for the unit testing? So as an input for the unit testing we have internal application design. So based on the design we are going to be test the software as a unit testing. So we have a master test plan and the unit test plan. After the unit testing we will give a report. That report is known as a unit test report, and that is the output of the unit testing. Now who will do this unit testing? Developer will do the unit testing. What are the method we are going to use to perform the unit testings? So white box testing techniques we are going to be used, and test coverage techniques we are going to be used for the unit testing. Dear students, these are the 2 techniques we are going to be used to perform the unit testing. Tools. So these are the tools we are going to be used for unit testing. Debugs. Restructure, we are going to be restructure if the structure is not designed, internal structure is not designed as per SRS, then we are going to be restructure is. Code analyzer, we are going to be analyze our codes. Then path or statement coverage tools, we are going to check the coverage tools also. Finally, in education we have a testing methodology and effective use of the tools, how we are going to be use the tools in a effective manner. So this is all about the unit testing. Now we have a integration testing. So integration testing, the objective of the integration testing means to verify technically where our modules are interfacing between one to another and they have a relation between them. Dear students, again I am explaining you, Integration testing, the objective of the integration testing is to check or to test technically and verify that whether proper interface between modules is there or not. Modules means it's nothing but it's a subsystem, a sub-program of a program. It's a one component of the software, or we can say one component of the program. So that is called module. When it will be performed integration testing? After the unit testing is done. What is the input of the integration testing? We have a internal and external application design. That means we have both internal application design as well as external application design. Then apart from this, we must have master test plan and integration test plan. So these three things we must need when we are going to perform the integration testing. What will be the output for the integration testing? The report which we will generate or which will be give after the performing of the integration testing, that will be the output. That is called integration test report. Now, who will do this integration testing? Developer will do, or tester will do the integration testing. What is the method we are going to be used? So they are going to use white and black box techniques. They are going to use white and black box techniques to check the integration testing. Second one, they are going to use problem and configuration management. So these are the two methods they are going to use for the integration testing. Tools. In tools, they are going to use debug, restructure, code analyzer. Same what we use in the unit testing, but in unit testing we used structure analyzer, but here we use code analyzer. In education, testing methodology, effective use of tools, the same here also used in education, what we use in the unit testing. Now, approaches to integration testing. We have four basic approaches to integration testing. What are the four basic approaches? Big Bang integration testing. So this approach is used for integration testing. Then second, we have a top-down integration. Top-down means starting from the top of the program and going towards the down. That means it's a decreasing order. Top to down integration testing. That means testing will be start from the top and it will go still down. Third point says that it's bottom to up. That means it's an increasing order. That means it will be go from bottom to up. That is increasing order. The integration testing. Sandwich hybrid integration testing. So these are the four basic approaches which help us to perform the integration testing. I hope, my dear students, it's clear for you. Now, validation testing. Validation testing is done after the verification. So validation is done once verifications are completed. During the validation, we are going to check or determine if the software meets all our requirement which is defined in the SRS. SRS means software requirement specification. So validation and verification, these two processes are ongoing process, continuous process till the software become defects free. So in the validation we have a regression testing. So regression testing is performed to determine if the software still meets all of its requirement in light of change or modification to the software. That means based on the SRS, our software is designed, it meets all our requirement or lightly it meets. So that can be checked by the regression testing. Second point says that regression testing involves selectively repeating existing validation test, not developing new test. So dear students, regression testing is only used to check whether the software is designed is based on our SRS or it's slightly changed or we did modification on it. Now alpha testing and beta testing. Alpha testing is done just before our software about to complete. That means in alpha testing we are or the developers are allowed to make minor changes in the design. But beta testing is done once our software is completely developed and about to go to the market. Before that, we perform the beta testing to just find out the bugs or any error in the software. And this is very essential testing in the software field. Now system testing. The objective of the system testing is to verify the system components perform control functions. System testings also check whether our software is truly working with respect to the transaction flow, installation, reliability or regression. So system testings also having objective to demonstrate that the software perform both functionally and operationally as specified. So when will system testing will done? After the integration testing will completed. What will be the output or input of the system testing? So the input will be the external application design and detail requirement. Here the detail requirement is nothing but it's a SRS, system software requirement specification and external application design. Apart from this, we must have system master test plan and system test plan. Then what will be the output of the system testing? We have system test report. Who will do this testing? Our development team or tester. So these are the people who are responsible to perform the system testing. What the method or technique we are going to be used? Problem configuration management techniques we are going to be used to perform the system testing. What are the tools we are going to be used? Recommended set of tools we are going to be used for the system testing. Again, it will be effective use of tools and testing methodology in terms of education. Now the last testing we have acceptance testings. So this testing is done by the end user, that is called customer. What is the objective of the acceptance testing? To verify that the system meets the user requirement. That means this testing will done to check the software whether the software will meet the requirement of the customer. Who will do and when it will be do? So acceptance testing will be done after the system testing. What will be the input of the system test acceptance testing? So business needs or detail requirement. That means again here detail requirements talks about the SRS, and we must have a master test plan and we must have user acceptance test plan. So SRS must have the user acceptance test plans. What are the acceptance given by the user we must have as an input with us while performing the acceptance testings. So output user acceptance testing. So output as a report which we are performed during the acceptance testings. Who will do? End user, customer will do. What are the method we are going to be used here? Black box techniques and problem configuration management. These are the techniques or method we are going to do use for the acceptance testings. What are the tools we have? Compare, keystroke, capture, playback, regression testing. So these are the tools we are going to be used for the acceptance testings. In terms of education, same testing methodology we are using. Effective use of tools we study. Product knowledge we must have. Business release strategy we must have. Now we have a testing methodology. We have 4 testing methodology: black box testing, white box testing, incremental testing, and thread testing. So we will see this 4 methodology one by one. So black box testing says that no knowledge of internal design or code required. Black box testing says that we no need to require the internal knowledge, internal design knowledge or code knowledge. So this testing will be done based on the requirement and functionality. So black box testing is done based on the requirement or functionality, which is again based on SRS. So white box testing. So white box testing must need the knowledge of internal program design and code required. In black box, internal design और कोड का कोई जानकारी नॉलेज होना जरूरी नहीं है, क्योंकि ब्लैक बॉक्स में हम लोग जो टेस्टिंग करते हैं दैट इज बेस्ड ऑन द रिक्वायरमेंट एंड फंक्शनैलिटी. बट व्हाइट बॉक्स टेस्टिंग वी हैव डन because we must need knowledge of the internal program design and the code required. Tests are based on the coverage of the code statement, branches, paths and condition. So white box testing are based on code statement, branches, paths, conditions. So this is the diagram which I try to show you for black box and white box testing. Now definition of bugging. So bugging is a methodology, or we can say that it's a process for removing mistakes in program. In other words, we can say that bugging means to locate the bugs and fix them. That means to find the error or to fix the error. So we have a 5 basic steps to perform the bugging process. First step says that reproduce the problem consistently. So first step says that reproduce the problem consistently. We have to reproduce. Second step says that collect the clues. So we have to collect the clue of the bugs. Pinpoint error. We have to check out the error, which type of error is there and what is the pinpoint. Repair the problem, and we have to repair the bugs or problem or error, and then after repair again we have to go for solution, test the solution. So these are the 5 steps for the debugging process. Dear students, as I told you, debugging means to locate the bugs. Bug means error, and to fix them or to remove the error from the program. That is called debugging. Now approaches to debugging. What are the approaches here? Stabilize the error. First we are going to be stabilize the error. Second point says that locate the source. What is the source of the error? Third point says that fix the defect. That means once we are able to locate the error, source of the error, now we have to fix that source of error. Then fourth point says that test the fix. Once you fixed the source of error, again we are going to test it, whether after fixing again problem will come or it completely remove the error from there. Then fifth says that look for similar errors. That means after fix or test of the error, again look for the similar error. So these are the 5 basic approach to fix the debugging, to do their debugging. Now tips to debugging. What are the tips we have to follow? So first point says that one thing at a time. That means at a time we must fix one error. Second point says that check code recently changed. Then we have to check the code which is recently changed in our program. Third point says that we have to break the complex error or calculation into a simple state. Fourth point says that we have to check the boundary condition of the software or our program. And last, we have a tips for debugging to check or to minimize the randomness in the program. So these are the tips and approaches for debugging. I hope, my dear students, it's clear for you. Now the reference I have given for you, just go through it and try to equip yourself more. Thank you my dear students. Have a nice day.